Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to some more unboxing for RoboRally. So we're gonna go over the third board expansion, Thrills and Spills, which has 3 new boards as well as some new upgrade cards, and then we'll also be going over the Master Builder, which is a fun, brand new project. Like all the different boards, I believe so far are just for the most part, recreations or at least redesigns of the original ones. Um, this is all brand new stuff in here, so it's got little smaller pieces you can use to build and customize your own maps. Does require the core game, much like any other expansion. We're gonna go ahead and hop into this. So throws and spills. So if we take off this, we're going to have, we flip it over, we'll have all our different rules for our new abilities as well as some cards. We'll look at the cards towards the end. But let's take a look at our boards to begin with. We're going to start with Gauntlet of Fire. Sorry, this is so blurry today. There we go. Gauntlet of Fire. I definitely see a lot of interesting stuff on here. So we got our blue double speed belts. We got our green single speed belts. We have some energy chargers. We have some... we have 2 brand new elements on here. One, we have the flames, and then we have the teleporters. So the portals work very simple. It says, a robot that enters a portal space is immediately moved to the other portal of the matching color on the same board. Rule, this movement is instantaneous and does not use up a move. The robot appears spaced in the same direction and continues its movement. If any, in destination portal space is occupied by another robot, the portal is not activated and the portal space has stepped on is treated as an open portal space. Rotating does not count entering a portal. So pretty much what that means is, so if I am way over here and I enter this blue portal going this direction, I will pop out here and immediately keep going that way. Same thing, if I entered this way, I would come out this direction. Now, that's something you have to kind of keep an eye on, because if you entered this one this direction, you're going to bump into this wall, which means you'll just stop there. If you're stopped there, the portal doesn't work. No one else can jump in. Besides having the colors, they do have the shapes. We have, like, circles for red and diamond shape there for blue. And I think there's one other color on one of the other boards. Might be 2 other colors. But yeah, so that's kind of neat. Now, as of right now, they're always going to always be on the same board. So again, your question might come up as well if you play 2 boards that come together. They don't really have a rule for this in the book. I would say it only teleports you to the nearest one, or you could play with the option if everyone agrees ahead of time. You can choose which one it teleports you to, because there is obviously going to be more than one tile that has teleporters with the same symbols and colors. So that could have been the only thing they could have done to avoid that, was not had the same ones on any tiles, but that's entirely fine. Yeah, so those work fairly simple. Very nice, very easy to use. I'm guessing you can also push people into them. It doesn't, again, specify that. But I'm guessing a push is considered a move. So long as they hit it, they will just end up on the next one. But they push them one space into it, then they're just going to end up one space on there because they wouldn't have any additional movement. The flames, on the other hand, work very interestingly. So it has special timing. You'll see it has the numbers, 1 and 2, or 3 and 4, or 2 and 5, depending. So they're going to work much like the pushers do and some of the other timing ones do, which they'll only register during those triggers. So that's another quick thing for everyone to look at the rules. To explain how these look, because they look like flamethrowers. They're not flamethrowers. They're shooting essentially a ball of fire. And we'll see that actually the next board. Let's flip over to the next board here. It shows that a lot better. So this is a fireball factory. So it shows that a lot better. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each spot registers a different spot that it stays there. So these ones move a little bit quicker. It fires it out. Each time it's going to move one space. Whereas if we head back to this board, they're going to kind of hold. It's going to shoot like a straight one out on 2, and then shut off, then come back out at 4. So this one works more as like a continuous stream for these at the distance, but they're going to go, then shut off, then go, then shut off. versus the other one. So there's two different ways of looking at it, I guess. Yeah, so it says flames cause damage to robots who enter, pass through, or in their register in an active flame space. The flamers activate only during registers that match the number. Unlike board lasers, flames are active for the entire register. So like lasers you can walk through, as long as you keep moving through them, you're fine, because it only shoots at the end of the turn. The flames, if it's turn 2 here, both of these are active the entire time. Register 2, so you can walk through them that entire turn. Then they shut off at the end of turn 2. A robot does not block a flamer from reaching any of the spaces down the line of flame, so it will also shoot through robots. Movement rules. A robot takes 1 damage each time it enters, passes through, or is pushed through a space of active flame or space. And to register a robot in the flame takes 1 damage. Example. The flamer above the robot enter or passing through the rightmost fireball space during register 3 takes 1 damage. In addition, a robot entering space takes 1 damage. Example 2. During register number 2 in the above flamer, the robot in the 2 space could exit that space into 1 or 3 without taking any damage. So it already take 1 because it's in 2, but if it moved to either of the other ones, it is fine. Similarly, a robot in 3 could start register 3 and move into 2 space and take no damage. Essentially, you can outrun a fireball if you play your cards right. Yeah, so starting your turn doesn't do damage. If you move into it, you pass through it, or you end there. So if you start your turn, so if at register 1 there, and I started on register 2, before the fireball hit me, I'd have a chance to move. Then it would activate. Space 1 and 2 are active during different registers, even though the flames are connected. Cool. Alright, so on the back of Gauntlet of Fire, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to have the Portal Palace. So this is going to add, we have a green, which is a hexagon, and a purple, which is a triangle. So we have 4 different portals going on. We have some lasers in here. We also have the third other new type, our oil slicks. So these ones have little barrels pouring oil all over. And oil slicks are actually really fun as well. They kind of work how you'd expect them to work. Starting and stopping an oil slick proves difficult. Oil slick spaces with or without barrels on them all work the same. Rules. Starting. Robots starting a register an oil slick have their movement reduced by 1 before moving. This happens only once per move card. So what this exactly means is example A. A robot in the oil slick plays a move 1 and a move back. In both cases, the loss of 1 move causes the robot to stand still during both registers. So basically, it can't get its wheels geared up enough to move unless it can move at least 2 spaces. Example 2, a robot executes a 2 move on an oil slick, loses 1 move, so only moves 1 space. However, they end up in another oil slick, they will still slide. So there's rules for stopping. A robot that ends their movement in an oil slick continues to slide in the direction of their movement until they're no longer in an oil slick, are stopped by a wall, or sliding into a robot that is not in an oil slick space. If a robot slides into another robot that is an oil slick, for whatever reason, a push occurs and both sides described above. The push-slide effect typically ends when the robot is pushed into a wall or a space without an oil slick. Oil slicks cause robots to slide when they end any form of movement in them. Register movement, dropping off a conveyor belt into an oil slick, or being pushed by another robot or pushed by a panel. So example number 3, the red robot, Hulk X90, resolves a move of 1, then moves into an oil slick. This causes it to slide, pushing the Hammerbot, since it's also in oil slick space. After a push of 1 space, Hammerbot is no longer in oil slick space, ends up depending on further sliding, the Hulk stopped as well. So how did this guy get here? So he could have ran into him down here, then now he has to stop. So now he's going to push him back the other way. So he pushes till that guy stops, and then he stops on an oil slick. So now he starts his turn on an oil slick. So if he wanted to move left or right, he wants to move at all, he's going to lose 1 movement. But if he moves down 1, he'll always slide to the next tile. So that's how our oil slicks works. Yeah, there's some interesting ones there. So if you entered off the conveyor belt this way, you slide into this wall. Or from this one, you can slide this way onto the conveyor belt. Obviously, see, this one's not as bad for some of them. They're just usually under the belts, but they do have some worse ones. On the back side of Fireball Factory, which we looked at, we have black gold. Here's another one with a lot more bigger oil slicks. Just a green conveyor belt going all the way around. But if you want to try and take a shortcut through, you're going to have to go through lasers and oil slicks, or maybe deal with the teleporters. Otherwise, you can kind of just ride that conveyor belt all the way around if you really feel like it. So that's pretty cool. Only 2 ways on or off this, 3 ways on or off. This one, that one, and that one are your ways on or off with a conveyor belt. And our last tile is called Locked. Last board, I should say. So let's add some pushers back in there. Has some lasers. We have some teleporters, some black gold, some oil there, some rotators around the teleporters. That's kind of neat, because the idea is you start kind of in here, is what, presumably what you do. Pushers on there, which will shove you into your teleporters if you try and ride that too long. Plus, you have to deal with a laser coming in and out. And then once you hit them teleporters, they each have their own different challenges. So like this one will have an oil slick. This one has all the gears. This one has a bunch of pushers all around, so you need to really dodge that. This one has some lasers. So it's kind of a fun, different way to go. But you notice that these are all blocked all the way around by walls, so you have to use a teleporter to get out. You just gotta decide which one you want to deal with. So that's pretty cool. Then the last side is the O-ring, which is a big giant oil slick with fireball. Too bad there's not a mechanic for setting the oil on fire. That'd be kind of neat. But you just have a little tiny fire burst. But again, kind of like where you get trapped in the middle. And then you have to try and get out. So you have to dodge the fire to get out, or across the board, however you're doing it. Yeah, some pushers, a bunch of walls on the outside to kind of give you less ability to enter and leave the area, which make that interesting as well. And gearing energy on every corner. Cool. So that is our different boards for this. I'm going to put this up here for a moment while I open the cards. And then we'll get 5 new cards. Now, I don't know if these are all brand new or if these are reiterations of the old game. I don't think I don't think the old games had a lot of extra cards, but I could be wrong. Alright, but let's look at what we have. We'll do some zooming in there for everyone. So let me drop my camera back down, and we can zoom back out a little bit. That way it's not as blurry. So we're going to start with permanent upgrade, the memory transfer. We'll have the little oil slick / fire on there, which is kind of cool for an expansion symbol. At the end of each round, you may transfer 1 damage card in your hand to an adjacent robot's discard pile. We have splash damage. Pay X. X is the number of foes in the game to a maximum of 4. When your robot's main laser damages a target robot, you also deal 1 damage to each robot adjacent to the target. Repulsor field. Pay X energy when the robot would push your robot. Push them X spaces away from your robot instead. Your robot is not pushed, X cannot be 0. So an interesting reaction one. We have a temporary phasing. After revealing a programming card, during your movement distress, you may pass through exactly 1 wall. That could be very, very helpful for a lot of reasons. And our 5th card is the Spam Powered Rocket. Movement upgrade. Put any number of spam cards from your discard pile into the damage discard pile. For each card you discarded, to move forward 1 space. It's kind of a neat way to make a weakness into a benefit. But again, it's only better if you gain a lot of spam cards. But again, sometimes you only need to move forward 1 or 2 spaces. So that's pretty cool. Alright, that is Thrills and Spills. Definitely new boards always make the game more fun, as well as more cards add extra on there. They do just need to make a good storage box for all of this, is what they really need to do. Alright, then we have our next set, which is Master Builders. So this is a really cool little thing. So it does come with a full rule book. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit here. So it comes with a bunch of tiles and tokens. We're going to kind of look this. This isn't a full game in itself. It is a full expansion. We get 8 double-sided 6x6 boards, a double-sided docking bay, 17 double-sided builder tokens of various shapes and sizes, 5 new upgrade cards. So what this does is it lets you build your own board and edit current boards. You'll find the boards in this expansion are a quarter the size of ones you have seen in the core game. We want you to have the ultimate control of every nook and cranny of your creation. The smaller your building blocks, the more options you have. And if you're mad with power, you'll find 2 boards in this expansion that are blank canvases. Use your builder tokens to provide your own boards from scratch. And then they go through and kind of show off some examples. But they don't put in any of the checkpoints or reboot tokens. They want to let you do that there. So this is just creating some of the boards that are in the game. The crossroads. And I'm not going to go through and read all of these. We're just going to kind of take a quick glance. But then they're also using like the plus. And again, this is just using content from the game. Other race course ideas. So you get some different shapes in there. Otherwise, you can use the 6x6 boards to modify existing boards. So this purple square is one of the new boards. And they dropped it into the middle of Energize. So now it changes how that fundamentally is going to work, because they could have had some other mechanic in the middle, and now you can get rid of that and kind of keeps it sort of even. Or it says adding additional boards with lots of elements like double can give new life to in and out. So they added this one down to the corner. Because before it was like the same shape on each side. Instead now the sides aren't symmetrical anymore. Very interesting. Or you can connect 2 boards just with 1 tile, so that way you don't have to have them directly next to each other. Might make for some interesting things. Also, at this it makes a good like choke point, because now if you're going from one side to the other, you can be like all over here. Then you all have to converge onto this 1 tile, and then you can spread back out. So it kind of makes all the robots have to interact a little bit more. And the same thing, there's an alternate idea to do it as a starting area. You all have to kind of like mix with each other in the starting area, then you spread out for the full tile. And then maybe you even have a flag where you have to go back and you have to get back together. There's little custom boards they have, so this is just blank ones. You can then add all the different little tiles to create your own little maps. Even they're showing here, taking a full board and all of a sudden adding 2 small tokens can make a world of difference in the game. Because now you have pushers that are going to like shove you towards them holes. So like it's already kind of a pain to get out of there, but now you have to worry about potentially also being shoved into them holes. So cool. There's all the awesome people that work on this game. Or worked on it in the past. So let's go ahead and look at what we have. So we have these new boards. So we have these are actually small enough I can put on my easel there. We have coming and going. So again, these are little small boards. And just as an example for how small they are, I'm going to grab one of our regular tiles. So there's our oil slick in the middle. This covers up that entire oil slick. Exactly. So if you didn't like the oil slick, you could get rid of that. Or this one, which had all of the walls on there, you couldn't get up. You're like, the wall, that's really punishing. You could instead put that one in there. It keeps all those walls in there, but now you have, now you have actually no way of getting out. So that's probably not a great way to do that, but that is an example of what you could do. Yeah, so that one might not be worth it because there's no way to get out of those. But hopefully they'll add more elements to this game, more master builder stuff for the new components. Because they don't unfortunately have any for the fire teleporters or oil slicks. So hopefully they add another set in the future that adds more of these, maybe after the next expansion comes, like every 2 or 3 expansions. But yeah, this kind of divides you one direction or the other. We flip to the other side, we have the wave, which just adds a big circle going around with a couple of hazards on the side. We have the doubles, again, mirroring forces. one goes one way, one goes the other way. Some pushers in there. And the H. And these don't always have to go in the center of your board. They can go in the corner. They can go like 3/4 of the way into the corner, leaving like 1 or 2 edges around the outside. Yeah, they, wherever you want to drop them, they're going to obviously disrupt how different things work. But yeah, here's another one with some different types. And again, you can always rotate them. You can play it this way on the board as well. Or this other direction, which is basically the same, but, different options. We have another big conveyor belt. We have this circle. So again, this could be a fun, interesting starting one. Or pass through in the middle. Like you get on here, either get stuck on the blue one and ride it around from one side to the other, or try and pass through, but then you have to go around either of the gears or through the center tile. The zone. A lot of stuff is it. Lots of similar ideas. We're just going to add symmetrical stuff where you have to try and get through each side with different challenges. There's some lasers and some gears. We have all roads. Just kind of brings everyone, they come in from the outside. You have the wall, so they have to take the conveyor belt, which is this maybe safer route. Or they can take the other way with the pushers and the pushers and the energy. But depending on which way you're going, you might get pushed the wrong way. We have windings. This is one of our non-asymmetrical boards, again, which is always good to do something like this. So this kind of gets you from the top to the bottom board. So this could be having a board up here, board on the side, and then a third board down here at the bottom. It's going to bring everyone together towards the last board. Or vice versa. You start at the bottom board and you have to go to the other two boards, and this is like now you have to struggle against this conveyor belts to get to the top, or you have to go around the go around to try and run over. So interesting. We have assembly. Kind of brings everyone to the pit there. Should have just been called the trash chute. Fairly simple. Kind of keep moving along. The X, ups and downs, gears, going to definitely deter you from what you're trying to do. The oval brings you in, runs you around in a circle, but you have to dodge that laser on the way back around. Convergence. Bring guys from the top bottom board, bring them to one single board. Just one single laser in there, nothing too terrible. The whirlpool. Another trash one. Goes fast, then goes a little bit slow, then speeds back up and tries to dump you in that hole. And if you wait too long, you have to deal with the laser. You have to deal with the pusher. You have to deal with the thing. The only thing that would have been cool is it had like more walls on here to like block you from getting out. That would have been kind of neat. So before I flip that tile over, we're going to look at the next tile, which is mergers. So we have a couple of guys coming in, leading you out, and then taking just a different path out. Pretty fun. So on the back of these two, we have the blueprint, which is completely empty, and tabula rasa. So again, another one that's completely empty. This is so that you can put your own tiles on here and design your own. So you can throw them in there, and then you can design extra tiles using the extra mini tiles we have. So that's kind of fun as well. We do have two new docking bays. Now I wish they weren't docking bay A and B, because I think that's what the base game is. I wish I would have called them B and C, just because in that way, like, you're trying to design like games, you're trying to tell people what tiles they use. Hey, you're gonna need these tiles. You could be like, oh, use these new letters. But this gives you essentially like team A and team B, or side A, side B for where you, because they block them off. And then docking bay B has a little bit of differences. So this can almost be set for like, again, maybe a 3-player team, maybe like team 1, team 2. Team 3, you know, like that, or 1, 2, 3, like different setups there. Could be kind of interesting. But yeah, just add something a little bit, especially if you put these like maybe in the middle somewhere where they have to like run through them. Walls could act as some interesting diversions. Then the last thing we get is we get one set of tokens. Now, this is probably my only complaint really about this entire thing. The AB things is a minor annoyance, but it's not really an issue. I wish we had 2 sets of these tiles because they're double-sided. It honestly almost makes you want to buy a second set just to get more, but then I'm also wondering if they're going to make a master builders like set 2 and have more of these tiles. But just because it would be nice to have more of these options than one version of each of these. Maybe I want to have, you know, this one twice. But we're going to get, you know, a couple different green conveyor belts. They're long. We have a double laser, a single laser, a pit. We get 2 different L-shaped walls. Some red gears, green gear, battery charger. So a bunch of different stuff on conveyor belts, little T-shapes. Because if we flip it over, all the green ones, for the most part, become blue ones of the same shape for the big ones. But then the small ones, they switch over to, we have some pushers of different rarities. We have some lasers. We have some more end lasers. We have some starting lasers. Another pit. I think the pit is on the same. Yeah, see, the pit's not even on the same side as the pit, so you can have 2 different pits. But that means you're cutting off a laser and you're cutting off a pusher. Another triangle one, another pusher. So you have 3 different pushers there. Just a straight one, but that's the only straight tile we have that doesn't have an angle on it. We have all 4 gears. But we only have 2 lasers, really. So you can have a single into a wall, and then you can have it into another wall. Or you can have it coming into a wall from the other side. There's lots of options. I just wish there was 2 sets of these. Just so I could play with every... You had the option of using every side duplicate. Because, you know, maybe I really want to use... this corner piece and this energy bar, but I can't because there's only one other energy. So if I want 2 energy, it cuts off being able to use a gear. So I can't use 2 energy and all 4 gears. You know, kind of a little thing there. But that's what we have for that. So it's still pretty cool. They do give you a little baggie to dump all those in. Otherwise, the box is just pretty much empty. I was hoping when I first saw this, it's like, oh, it's gonna be a big box the size of like the tiles, so I can put all the tiles in one box and put all the little components in the original box, and I can have 2 boxes, but that's not going to work. So again, maybe they'll release a storage box later, or I know like the 30th anniversary is coming out. Maybe if I get that, I can use that big box to combine them. We'll see. Alright, then we have 5 brand new cards. So we'll hop into them quick. We have Anchor. Spend 1 energy when your robot would be pushed. Your robot is not pushed. We have a second permanent top heavy. If your robot is about to be moved by a conveyor belt, it may ignore all conveyor belt this register and move 1 space to the left or right without changing face. Pretty sweet. Some temporaries. We have Overclocked. Gain 1 spam and put it in your discard pile. Ignore your programming cards this register. Instead, resolve 1 of your previous register's programming cards. The Opposition. After play after revealing a non-haywire programming card. Do the opposite of what your programming card says. U-turn, no turn. Move back, move 1, etc. It's kind of cool. And then the Moonwalk. Conveyor belts and currents move your robot in the opposite direction this round. Use only if this would not stop, push another robot. And then it has the little mechanic wrenches down there. So that's pretty cool. Reverse stuff, protection stuff. I like how all the cards are kind of themed together. So that is RoboRally Master Builder. Definitely fun. The new tiles are really cool. The new small ones, the cards are always fun. Now again, it doesn't add any of the components or things from the expansion, so that's why I'm hoping they're going to release a second one. Because we don't have, from throws and spills we just looked at, we don't have any of the portals or the oil or the fireballs. But then the previous ones, we also don't have, I'm trying to remember what all of them, we don't have like the water currents and, I don't remember what all the different things are, but any of the other effects from the other two boards that we've had before from the expansion. So maybe they'll have Master Builder Expansion 2, which will add more of those elements. You can combine some of them, and some of these bigger tiles will have some of those elements on there as well, which would be really cool, because then you can really make your expansions, take the stuff from your expansions and play them on some of the base boards, which would be really cool. Alright, that's what we got for this. Hope to see you guys later. Check out the other RoboRally videos. Again, we'll have the 30th anniversary coming out hopefully sometime this year, whenever that's released, as well as the Transformers, which will be very interesting because it seems like it's more of a standalone game as opposed to an expansion, but we'll have to see when they release more information if it is, how combinable it is with this game. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.